welcome back to the Difference Engine podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Oakes, certified business coach, probably certified in other things too. Entropy is the topic today. The measure of molecular disorder, randomness, or energy dispersal within a closed system. What the heck does that mean? Entropy in business mean things disintegrating. And just talked with a client about something as simple as organizing their desk and their work. And if you don't believe that's important, I can draw you a chart sometime that shows underneath everything of the iceberg of identity of selfhood, underneath that the water that supports your identity is your environment. And part of what your environment entails is your workspace, i.e. your desk. So when your desk is experiencing chaos, what do you think that's going to lead to for you? And entropy was something that came up in a conversation because as he was cleaning his desk, it got dirtier because there was new things coming in. So there's nothing in life that is isolated and separate and you get to just do that and nothing else. You have to be doing that plus these other things at the same time. We have to walk and chew gum. So as the desk is getting clean, it's also getting dirty again because the things that got it dirty in the first place still exist. And if there's no smaller system built into the larger system that catches those things, the desk gets dirty. What this means, entropy is a bigger idea overall. It's the second law of thermodynamics. It dictates that natural processes are irreversible and move towards equilibrium, maximum entropy. Basically, energy spreads out. Things disperse. Things become disordered. A case of that nature is ice is ordered on a molecular level. Ice is perfectly crystalline. And then it turns into water, becomes disordered. It becomes jumbled. And then the further version of that is steam, which becomes so disordered it floats away. It becomes spaced out. Or if you need a visual one of like diffusion, if you put food coloring into water, that spreading out is entropy. It's dissipating. So in business, your systems are constantly moving toward a state of dissipation, of decay, of randomness, of chaos. So what has to be built into business systems, besides just the ideal, separate, perfect order of business, like the thing that if you could snap your fingers, wave a magic wand and make it happen, that's how most people build systems. But a really useful way to build systems is to ask, how did this get messed up in the first place? How did this go wrong? Engineers are great at this. Mechanical engineers. Maybe you've heard of root cause analysis, where you ask why a thing happened, and then you ask why again, and you ask why again, until you get to what you hope, what feels like the actual root cause, end all be all, and then you fix that. That is a way to counteract entropy, is to keep asking why until you get to the base layer of chaos and then solve for that. In this case, I told my client to look at the things that came on his desk this week, what new things arrived. Those things, all of those things, have no system, guaranteed. Whatever they are, bills, letters, random brochures, they don't have a system. If you stack up that pile and create a system for all those things that came through, you will stop the flow of things in a chaotic fashion, and then the cleaning can actually take place. How this works in business is if you need to hire and recruit people to your team without checking your churn rate of employees, and it's every 8 months or every 18 months, if it's too low, if you're not retaining people, you have to figure out a system of retention first, or else you're just going to hire to a vacuum. You're going to recruit to a vacuum. Same thing with customers. If you can sell all day long, but the reviews aren't good, or they only make a one-time purchase, then there needs to be an idea of client retention and client relations to keep the people around, or else you're just selling to a vacuum. You're just putting people into a lack of system where they just fall off the face of the earth once they're inside your company or do one transaction or hired for 6 months or 8 months. There's no fail-safe to the system. There's no redundancy that makes the catch that keeps it from falling apart. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere. A great example of entropy is cars. Cars are wonderful because they get us around and they keep us warm, they keep us cool, they keep us safe. They do have their own whole set of things that need taken care of, though. And I am not an expert on cars. And unless you are too, it's frustrating to be constantly told what things need fixed again and what things need fixed again and what fluid you're low on, et cetera, et cetera. One of the easiest ways to destroy your car is not get your oil changed. There are oil changes in business. There are things that need routinely checked in business. Profit and loss statement, even more than that, cash flow statement. Cash flow statement is important because it reconciles to the bank. So it is possible to have what looks like a good profit and loss statement on paper and work your way into bankruptcy, because profit is more theory than fact. And if you're not reconciling your money to actual cash flow, you can you can literally close up shop looking at nice P&Ls. So that is an example of like getting your finances in order on paper or in theory, and then having nothing to catch the entropy of like actual cash flow. When you're running a business that is $1 million or more in trades, and you have vehicle maintenance or purchasing new vehicles, plus vendors, plus payroll, your cash flow, where the money actually is at any given point, is super critical. Not just how it looks this month, but where is the money right now? Is there enough in the bank account to cover these expenses when they hit that time in the month? So those are just a couple examples of how it works. What I find generally is that business owners are super optimistic. That's what allows them to take the risks they need to take to be business owners. It becomes a sort of Achilles heel or blind spot though when in terms of like getting clients, getting team members, organizing things, is let's plan for the real case. Let's plan for what could go wrong and build that into the system as well. Um, if this person leaves and they're a key person in the company, what do we have in terms of fail safe? Like, let's build a relationship now with a staffing agency, or let's build a relationship now with a headhunter, or better yet, multiple. And that's what a 2 weeks notice is for. A 2 weeks notice is to guard against entropy. It's so that you don't just have a gaping hole in your company, in your middle management or your C-suite when someone comes in and puts in their notice. He gives you as a business owner time to respond. That's why it was originally instituted. Now it's kind of a social nicety. No one really has backup plans like that anymore, I don't think, or most companies don't. But it's to give the business owner or the owner or the general manager enough time to begin the hunt and put somebody in that spot within 2 weeks, so there's not missing work. But for small business owners who are at 500,000 or 1 million or 5 million or even 10 million, it's shocking the lack of preparedness for a 2 weeks notice. That is not a lot of time. That is not a ton of time. So there needs to be an emergency safety raft. There needs to be in case of emergency, grab this handle. And that has to be built now when there's no problem versus later when there is. Amazing. If you have questions on this or want to chat, The Difference Engine is my handle on all platforms. Like the video, subscribe, and if you have goals in life, just remember there's no substitute for hitting those goals. There is nothing that takes the place of achieving the things that you want in this life.